Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Ryder, and this is a beginner's guide to the newest tank hero in the game, Ramattra. In this video, we will go over the basic abilities and playstyle of Ramattra, as well as some strengths and weaknesses that he has, so that you can kind of jump into quick play and some early competitive play and stuff like that, and kind of understand how he works, and you don't go in completely blind, you kind of understand how he works. Keep in mind, in order to master a hero in Overwatch, it does take some hours of play. You gotta practice, you gotta kind of learn. This is just kind of a stepping stone to get you started, so you kind of understand how he functions and how he works. Okay, so practice, get better, stuff like that. This is just a way to get you started. Anyway, if you guys like this video, please feel free to like the video, smash that subscribe button, leave a comment down below if you have any further questions or anything after the video is done, and check the description box down below where my Twitch channel is, where I stream pretty regularly on there. But anyway, without further ado, let's jump into the guide for Ramattra. So Ramattra is a tank hero, and when I say tank hero essentially means your job is to create space, be the threat on the field, be the main focus. You should be the biggest threat and the biggest distraction on the field, so that you're taking the majority of the incoming damage, so the rest of your team is able to basically harass the enemy team without being bothered too much. And we're going to kind of go over his kit and how he functions. He's kind of a unique tank. He's a little bit tricky to play. He has a lot of moving parts, and we're going to kind of go over them here. So he has two different modes. His main version form is his Omnic form, where he's running around with his staff like this. His primary fire is he just shoots his little pebbles out of the staff. You got 100 charges, rapid fire out. It does pretty respectable damage, quick reload speed for the most part. Headshot damage should be preferable. It has pretty good range, not a whole lot of damage drop off from a distance or anything like that. But it is decent damage. You can get some pretty decent picks with this. If you see some low health target from a distance or something like that, you can just mow it down with it. It's not anything to shy away from. He also has his other ability, which is his Ravenous Vortex. It's where he will fire a sphere and form like a circular void zone on the ground. It will slow enemies that are caught in it and do some ticking damage. It's kind of a zone denial thing. It doesn't do a ridiculous amount of damage, but it's a good way to kind of just kind of deter people from going in an area. You throw it down, and it just kind of does, see, it's not doing anything crazy in terms of ticking damage, but it does slow them, which gives openings for people to pick them off, stuff like that, or you can just throw it out as like an area of denial so that they can't go through it, things like that. He also has his shield that he can spawn. You hold your secondary fire down, you let it go, you spawn a 1000 health shield, but this shield is 100% temporary. It only lasts for a few seconds, then it goes away, and you got a 10-second cooldown on this. So this thing right here is basically just throw this up. If you have a lot of incoming damage coming in at your team, you can throw this up to kind of block some of the shots and things like that. But it's not going to be a permanent thing, so don't depend on it a ton. His second, so that's all his primary form abilities. His secondary form ability is his Nemesis form. When you hit the left shift button, you will basically become, the Incredible Purple Hulk. You will get increased health, and your staff will go away, and for about 8 seconds, you are basically punching them in the fucking face and launching energy vortexes out of your fist. This does a respectable amount of damage. You have an 8-second cooldown after using it, and you're a lot more survivable while you're in it. Keep in mind as well, these energy blasts that you're doing, you can 1 to 2 tap some of your squishier heroes and healers, and you also can your energy blasts go through shields. So Reinhardt's shield, you can still hit him through that shield. So keep that in mind. While you're in this form as well, your secondary button will be replaced with a block for 6 seconds that allows you to block any incoming damage that's coming at you and reduce the damage that's coming at you. You do have slowed movement speed while you're doing this, but it is a way to kind of keep yourself alive. Ramattra is all about a dance of knowing when to push and when to pull back and stuff like that. You got to kind of to understand how he works is, you should essentially, he can be he's a very unique tank in the fact that he can be defensive and he can be offensive both at the same time. Ramattra is a big threat on the field whenever he is pushing. If you want to play him effectively, what I have found, and I don't have a ton of hours into him because he's still relatively new, but what I have found with him is if you play back in your line with your team, and you fire your staff for a while, block some shots and everything, you should kind of slowly be pushing up with it. And whenever you get within range of another enemy, that's whenever you pop your nemesis mode out and you just start popping them off. When it goes down and your nemesis form is out, that's whenever you should kind of back up a little bit, get back to your team, pull up your shield, take some cover for a second, let your healers top you back up, maybe launch your void zone to make a little bit of extra cover for yourself, things like that. It's a big dance of when to jump in a nemesis form, when to jump out, when to get back, when to go in. It's something you're going to have to learn by playing him and knowing when to do it. But just know that when you are out of nemesis form, you are a lot more vulnerable. So I would not push into the enemy team like you'll hold your forward key right into the enemy team, because you have nothing to really defend you from just mass damage, and they can melt you doing that. His ultimate ability, however, is arguably one of the strongest in the game right now. It's called Annihilation, and basically it makes you automatically enter your nemesis form, but it makes it to where the entire area around you causes a bunch of, like a nanite swarm, and it lashes out to nearby enemies. And as long as there are enemies nearby, this ticking damage will be constantly going out. And the timer for this will continue to go on as long as there are enemies nearby. You have 3 seconds, but as you can see, that 3 seconds is not going down as long as there are enemies that are in the vicinity of this zone. So you can just keep this going and just completely destroy an enemy team. Ramattra is such a non-stop psychotic threat when he is in Annihilation form. Now, as you can see, it does eventually run out. But do you see how many kills I just landed? And I'm still going. Like, this is still happening. I'm still going in this ultimate, and the entire time I was doing ticking damage. I just did so much damage with that ultimate. Now, you're a huge target when you're doing this. They're going to turn and focus you. Communicate with your healers. Healers, if you're watching this video, heal Ramattra. If you have a Ramattra, if you're being pocketed as Ramattra, or you let your healer know, or you have a healer pocket or a mercy pocket or something that's keeping you alive, Ramattra will absolutely carry and destroy the enemy team, and you will win the team fight every time with that ultimate, as long as Ramattra survives. You keep him alive, you let him keep just trailing on the enemy team, and he will, pardon the pun, annihilate the enemy team. Just destroy them all. It's ridiculous, the strength that ultimate has. And just how long it can last. Now, the downside is that the enemy team is smart, and they scatter, they get the hell away from you, and they're able to just scatter and get away and avoid you. 3 seconds, it's gone, and they can jump right back in on you. So you want to make sure that you do this smart. You know, combo it maybe with some other DPS ultimates, maybe like Maze ult or something like that. You know. As far as strengths and weaknesses, strength-wise, he is very, very, very strong against your squishy heroes. You know, your Tracers, your Genjis, your lesser health healers. You know, Lucio, Ana, maybe not Ana, but Lucio, Zenyatta, stuff like that. You know, he can basically 1 to 2 tap some of those lower health heroes with ease. He's also kind of a threat to your airborne heroes as well, because like I said, there's no damage drop off from this little staff here, so I can shoot this thing at a Pharah, and if Pharah's stupid enough to be in my line of sight, he can burn her to the ground pretty quick. I mean, it's pretty respectable damage. Same with an Echo. He's pretty strong against hit scan heroes, to be honest, because of his shield. He can lift that up and he can block off a lot of hit scan things. He's not perfect at it, but he's not bad. As far as weaknesses, Ramattra's weaknesses are kind of few right now. He's pretty strong right now, but I would say that anybody who can match his melee ability would be kind of a threat to him. So, like, if I'm going up against a really good Ramattra, Orisa is a really good counter to him, kind of, because she can block a lot of his pebbles from his staff. Um, she can fortify and eat a lot of the Nemesis vortex punches. Um, things like that would work. Energy Javelin can knock him back during his annihilation and kind of slow him down and stop him in his tracks. Things like that. Junker Queen, in my opinion, is kind of strong against Ramattra just because he thrives for being up close and personal. So does she. So her axe, her knife, all that stuff, it plays right into her wheelhouse. So, a Junker Queen into a Ramattra probably isn't a bad idea by any means. Anybody that thrives in close combat quarters, Reaper is pretty strong against Ramattra as well. Because, again, anything with close quarter combat strength is going to excel again at just kind of matching the damage up, because Ramattra really shines in close quarters and getting close to you. So anybody that can match that aggressiveness and match that beefiness in close quarters is going to be kind of a struggle for Ramattra to deal with and at least be able to challenge him. But yeah, that's about it with Ramattra. I mean, he's a really interesting tank. I like him a lot. I've put in a few games with him. He can absolutely carry a team in damage. He can do a stupid amount of damage, and that ultimate's nasty. So yeah, you'll have a lot of fun learning him. If you guys have any further questions, please feel free to leave a comment down below. Hopefully you guys like the video. If you do, like, comment, subscribe, so on and so forth. Check out my Twitch channel. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks.